Yes, guys, welcome back to SFeatleyTV. Well, I'll tell you what, call this a family journey. Jeez, we might as well call this the European Super League journey, the way this is going.
Yeah,
Um, we can end up not even doing football here anymore because look,
yeah,
we're
how it could turn out.
considering it. Um, yeah, man. Uh, yeah. So, if people don't know, if you don't, you've been living under a rock, right? Um, 6 Premier League clubs, including 3 clubs from Spain, 3 clubs from Italy, have agreed to be the founding members of a new Super League called the European Super League. Um, these founding clubs will not be relegated from this league, by the way. So they've got Europe every season. So that's one way of Arsenal getting it. And yeah, and it's obviously there's been wide condemnation over this because there's only going to be 5 spots that are going to be sort of classed as a relegation promotion sort of thing. So yeah, they're still waiting from other clubs to hear back to whether they're going to take part. UEFA and FIFA and FA have come out and condemned this. They are threatening to ban anyone that's a player for these clubs to even play in international tournament or of any international tournament already and such. The clubs involved, if they go through with this and then they decide to try and come back, they could even face. I even heard in some instances they're getting relegation to the top non-league. To the top of non-league if they try to come back. So if it all falls on its ass. So yeah, but at the minute, these clubs have signed. I mean, Jose has even been sacked over this because this morning he's refused to take players on the pitch for training, and because of that, he's been sacked. So Tottenham are definitely putting all their eggs in one basket on this one. And Arsenal vice chairman, obviously, he's the vice chairman of this. There's no understand Cronky, right? No change there, no? Right. But yeah, I'll go to Beyond the Post first because obviously he's an Arsenal fan. Well, that was some interesting news last night. Yesterday.
I am not as worried as some of the other Arsenal fans and other fans of other clubs are, because if the Premier League has to survive and all these top European leagues have to survive, they have to keep hold of their you can say the most title winning clubs. Now, whether it is if it was only Arsenal, I would be very worried. It is Chelsea, Manchester City, Manchester United, Liverpool, all of the clubs that actually draw revenue to the Premier League and the viewership. If the Premier League actually lets all of them go and actually throws them out, their viewership will be more or less dead. I don't think the Premier League can afford to do that at a time when even they are losing money. And one of the reasons people are saying that the reason all these clubs have left and decided to start the Super League is because of greed. I don't think it's just because of that. It's because the clubs are losing money, because revenue is going down because of the lack of fans and ticket sales, and they need to sustain and they need to have a source of revenue that will give them an assurance that the club as a business will survive through this. The pandemic could even last for 5 more years if we know, if the disease doesn't die down or curb down. So that is why they're trying to keep a safety assurance, and they must have gone to UEFA, they must have gone to Sky Sports that we are losing money, we need more money. They said no, they did not agree to this, and at the end of the day, they have the power as well, and they have gone ahead and created the Super League. Now it is the ball is in UEFA's court whether they accept the fact that we will let them have this other league and we will make money out of the domestic leagues like the Premier League. If they agree, then I think both parties will be happy and everything works out well.
So you think this is a negotiation tactic?
It's actually a standoff between the top clubs who are losing money and UEFA. It's not about the owner's wealth. The owner has enough money, but if your business, that is a club, like say Barcelona, the best example, they are in a debt of $1 billion US dollars. So now, if they do not recover that money through some maybe a sponsor, maybe a new owner or a takeover, or this Super League, if they do not recover that money, they could go bankrupt, and Barcelona as a club could be shut down in the long run. Though a lot of us feel that it will never happen, but they have taken this step to ensure their existence as well. So these clubs have done something that they are losing money. They don't want to lose more money, and they have gone ahead and created the Super League, which assures them of a certain amount of money that they'll be making every season. And in the long run, I read it is $1.5 billion that they'll be making. Chelsea has already increased their expansion program from 60,000 to 80,000 seats at Stamford Bridge. Spurs just went ahead and sacked Mourinho, which was not expected to happen. But now they have money to sack him. They can get in a new manager if they want. So even Arsenal will make certain changes that can possibly be buying more players. The players that we have been saying we need, our board can be ruthless enough because they are getting more money now. They have an assurance. Stan Kroenke only did not put money into Arsenal, and he put it more into the Rams because one, he's a Rams fan, like he's more into the domestic sports. But the other thing is also that he never had an assured amount of money coming in from Arsenal. There could be ups and downs. Now that he sees, that is why he sent out a message to Perez that I thank you for this idea, because now he sees that there will be a fixed sum of money coming in each season, and that there will be more, you can say, an assurance and safety. Now he may end up putting in more from the 300 million. If you're making a season, he may put 100 million each season into the team. It could happen.
You think Kroenke would actually use that money for Arsenal?
I think the whole idea of this league is so that the club grows. It could be either in terms of buying players, it could be development of the growth of the club overall.
What about the fans? About this?
There you go. There you go.
If UEFA agrees to not ban these clubs from the Premier League and the other domestic leagues, I think the fans will not. You can say the fans are worried that the clubs may not play the league seriously. But you need to remember the only thing that is changing is that they will not be playing in the Champions League and the Europa League. They will be playing the domestic leagues and the cups regularly without any changes. The only thing that changes is instead of playing the Champions League, they will be playing the Super League in midweek. If you've seen the flow of events in this league that has been created, or the you can say the weekly how the fixtures are planned, they are not planned to interfere with the domestic leagues. They are only planned in ahead instead of the Champions League and the Europa League. So they will be midweek games.
Yeah, but how does it make it fair for clubs like Leicester, for example, have gone on and won the league, right? How is it now fair that they now have to sit there and accept that they're not going to get Champions League football or Europa League football or this Super League football? Play the big teams in Europe. You win the Premier League, you deserve the right to go to Europe and play the biggest teams in Europe. Your Bayern Munich, your Real Madrid, your Barcelona's. At what point does that make it now fair for them to say, oh, you can win the league, yeah, but you're not going to play with us? Nah, this is an exclusive club. Nah, the whole point of competitive football, right, is that if you fuck up, you get relegated, right? If you play well, you get win the league, right? You don't sit there in your own league and just go, oh, we don't have to worry about anything. We're not getting relegated. So we could get relegated to League Two for instance, in the league, right? We've got European football. Hey.
No, the rule of the league will change. The rule of the leagues will not change. It is not.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is it doesn't matter because we could try easily just get relegated out of the Premier League into the Championship. And we're like, oh yeah, we got European football next season. It's not right. We're still playing Real Madrid. We're still playing Barcelona. What's above us?
I understand what you're saying, but the other problem that also a lot of Arsenal fans said is the Kroenkes aren't bothered when they were finishing in the top four. The main reason was whether you finish and win the league or whether you finish in the top four, the prize money isn't that different that you get at the end of the season. That is also another thing. Maybe that was the focus of these clubs, that the money is not that
so
different.
It is money.
Even if No, with respect to the club's growth, I'm saying, see, suppose if you are getting 50 million to be in the Champions League, that is in the top four. If you are getting 70 million to win the league, or 100 million, so the difference in prize money is not that huge. So these clubs must, if they are not making, if they finish in the top six, and the difference is maybe say a 40 or for 50 million, which is not even the price of a top player these days. So what? So that is what maybe the complaint was, and they wanted to also show UEFA that we have the fan bases, we clubs have the fan bases, and that we also have a bit more control than just you being the only par body in Europe. Because if you've seen, this plan was in progress, or under since the last 15 years they have been talking about it. But the reason it has been implemented now is because clubs are actually losing money, and even the Champions League doesn't assure them that they will be able to sustain in the long run if there are no ticket sales. Similarly, if you remember the situation with the League Cup, where clubs were having to put money from their own pocket, and they would prefer to get knocked out of the League Cup rather than actually go and play those games because there was no prize money there.
Yeah, right. First of all, clubs don't need to grow anymore. They're big enough, right? This is what I call the big six. They're big enough, right? The amount of money that we got flowing our reserves, we don't need to. We could quite easily go out and invest in a squad if we really, really wanted to, right?
Yeah.
With the reserves we got. The reason we won't do it, even if we get the European Super League, is because we've got a fat fuck. It's called fucking Conky. Got this fucker running this joint, right? He's now embedded us into this shit, right? He doesn't care,
Yeah.
right? All he cares about is how much money he's going to get in his pocket, right? He'll pocket that and take it to the Rams, right? He's done it before. He'll do it again. Right? He does not care about this club. He don't care whether he gets big or small. Right? The only thing he cares about is how much profit he makes out of it at the end of the year. Right? So that's why he won't bother investing in this club. Because if he did, and he actually invested in this squad, the reserves we would have used by now. We would have used it by now. But we haven't. We've been gradually getting worse and worse and worse. And now we've got to play the big teams in Europe. We're basically going to be like the Sheffield United of this league. That's what we are. Because we're not big enough to play these teams.
No, that is what I'm saying. If we have to compete and put on a show against the likes of Real Madrid, Barcelona, even say AC Milan and all these clubs, even Man City, Liverpool, Manchester United, if we have to put in a show against these big clubs every week, then we will have to obviously invest. And even the Kroenkes will understand that if we finish at the bottom of this league, which is the European Super League, then there is no point of them Arsenal joining the league if they have to just finish at the end of at the bottom of the league each season. So I think this will be a step where they will actually put in money, so that, because now they know that we'll be playing big clubs week in and week out, and they will need a better squad to challenge these clubs. They cannot go in with this same squad, and the squad overhaul that is happening at the end of this season, I think that will be the first step where they will, if they are going through with this idea of the Super League, they will actually put in some money. From that money that they get, and we should see some players being bought at the end of this season, which was anyways going to happen, but we may buy now some bigger players.
That's if these players actually want to come and play in this league, especially if they get thrown out.
Yeah, that is a situation. See, that is a situation that every club will be facing, not just Arsenal. And the fact is, if it was only about the Kroenke moving out, if about Kroenke's moving out, I would agree with you that it's all about the money. They don't care about anything. Why would Chelsea, who is like one of the most successful clubs of the last decade, why would Manchester City, who's dominating the Premier League almost every second season, why would these clubs want to leave unless the club is not making money, like it is losing money at in some phases? They are because of the lack of audiences in the stadium, and maybe because of the TV rights money going down and all those things, they are probably losing money as a business, and they want to self-sustain for a longer period. That is one of the reasons I feel that they have gone to this league. Otherwise, the sheikhs have unlimited supplies or sources of money. If you see, I don't think they have any reason. Roman has a lot of money. He doesn't need the money. But the thing is, if the club is losing money as a business, they need to ensure that the business is also protected, because if the club stops generating profits, then it will hurt them in the long run. I think clubs like Barcelona have no other option, because like a debt of $1 billion without any fans in the stadium, I think they have to look at their options of sustenance. So some of these clubs have done it because they need to make money. Some of these clubs have done it for, as per maybe I think a long term plan, where they feel that if this continues, the pandemic continues for the maybe say the next 4 to 5 years, because even Arsenal let go of a lot of employees because they were losing money at that point of time. It wasn't just that they wanted to sack all the scouts and they wanted to get rid of all the employees. They also needed to save money. As a business cannot keep losing so much money. If that happens, then they will have no transfer budget. Kroenkes will keep putting money from their pockets and keep losing money. The club goes in more debt. The value of the asset goes down. It is very simple to say that Kroenke can always put money from his pocket or from what reserves he has or what the club have saved for some other purpose. But then it will hamper the club in other ways. And if Kroenke puts in money and he's charging the club interest, again the club goes in more of a debt and they have to pay the owner with the interest as well eventually. So that is another problem. You can't just keep taking money from the owner and say that we will pay it back someday.
Well, it's actually known to just be the owner of the football club and just say, we'll put the money in and there you go. Don't have to worry about it.
See,
That's what most clubs do.
I will just request the fans to wait and see what UEFA first says, because I think the Premier League without these 6 clubs cannot happen. I mean, their viewership will be more or less gone. Look at what clubs will be remaining. Yes, there will be a few good clubs, West Ham, Leicester. I'm not going to name a lot, but I'm just saying there will be a few good clubs. But the majority of the fan base comes from these 6 clubs. If they are gone from the Premier League, the viewership of the Premier League will be probably even lesser than some of the other European
As
leagues.
if these fans want to actually go and watch
Yeah.
these clubs now. Because I'm seriously considering it.
No, I am not denying that you could watch it, but how long? You if you are an see, I gave this example on Twitter as well.
No, I'm considering not watching it.
The Super League or Premier League.
It's Arsenal. It's not the club
Okay.
I know.
Okay, so
I've been
what I'll
debating
just
it for a lot of years actually. It's not the club I know.
yeah, I'll give you an example. Say if this was the situation back last year. If Spain and Catalonia would have broken apart as 2 countries, Barcelona would have left the La Liga and they would have probably come to the Premier League. That was one of the prospects that were being decided on. If that would have happened, do you think the Barcelona fans would have stopped supporting Barcelona? I don't think so. So yes, some of the fans may say that we will not watch Arsenal, but if you see all the top 6 clubs, Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Real Madrid, all the big clubs from Europe, all have decided unanimously to leave the leagues and leave UEFA. So it's not a one club thing. There has to be a bigger reason for this, that all clubs want to leave and suddenly want to start their own league. If it was one club saying that I want to leave UEFA, like Arsenal, we know that the owner is greedy. But why will every top club in Europe want to leave? Even Bayern and Dortmund are about to join the European Super League if they haven't already. I read somewhere Bayern has already joined, and Dortmund is also going to join. Leipzig is also going to join. All these are big clubs in Europe. They all want to leave UEFA and want to join the Super League. That means there must be some reason where they must be losing a good amount or substantial amount of money by paying UEFA or for some other reason, and they want to curb their losses.
Well, one thing that will probably impact and was the amount of money that Premier League produces from this, from the way it is at the minute, and the amount of money will be lost in the Premier League and then gets filtered down to the lower leagues. And Max, as an older fan, you're probably sitting here thinking, yeah, well, your problem, not ours.
Yeah, definitely.
But obviously, if there's no money in the Premier League, then it doesn't filter down the system, and less of it will filter down the system. And I mean, in the midst of a pandemic where clubs like Bury and other clubs have just they've had to go extinct or struggling to survive, As an Oldham fan, what do you say to this?
It's going to be interesting, that's for sure. The Premier League haven't provided the finances to the lower leagues. It's the amount of money they've got. They could have saved single-handedly Bury. Bury went bust for like 2 or 3 million. That's like pocket money to the Premier League, you know. It's definitely going to make an effect on our finances in the lower leagues. But if you have the Premier League, you know, trying to be our saviour from stopping us this in UEFA, then we're done for, because these are two, you know, organisations that just, they're corrupt. You know, FIFA have got a World Cup in Qatar next year, which is killing people on the daily that are trying to organise the tournament. They're all corrupt on organisations. And I think this backlash from the Premier League and UEFA is just simply based on finances and maybe trying to play to the fans, like, you know, we're trying to stop this for you. They're not trying to stop it for the fans. They're not trying to stop it for anyone else other than themselves. It's as simple as that for Premier League and UEFA. You know, the fans are the real sufferers of this, not the owners. The owners have enough money; they could just walk away, and the club wouldn't be their issue anymore. They could still live happily, you know. But to fans, you know, football's everything, and football's being destroyed by this. It's been absolutely destroyed. It's a disgrace, to be honest with you. But for Oldham, it's going to be interesting to see, you know, what's going to happen with the finances, because especially now we haven't got that Premier League Big Six at home in the FA Cup draw where you could get that, and that's everything to a club in League 1 and 2. So there's not that party out car, because after the pandemic, you know, our finances, we went in administration before the pandemic. Imagine what it's like now. We're going to be decimated. I wouldn't be surprised if there is a few clubs going bust in League 1 and 2 because of this, because if they're just inept, and the money that is involved in this. I just saw that 3.5 billion each founder club will get. 3.5 billion, but he couldn't save Bury, who needed 2 or 3 million. It just shows how they don't care about the lower leagues. It's a joke, to be honest with
you. You just don't care about football.
Yeah, the Premier League don't care about football. The UEFA don't care about football. The owners don't care about football. It's all money. It's all money based. Premier League and UEFA pretend to care now because there's money. There's money involved. You know, they didn't care about the pandemic. There was no sort of... The Premier League have never... Yeah, there's no pay packet for the lower teams. And if there was, it was minimal. It was so minimal. And now there's finances, and their business could turn into what we've all been suffering with for the last year. Now it's all... Now they care. Now the pandemic, and they're sort of using it as an excuse, and they're trying to get out of the Super League, but it's because their finances are going to be at risk, not anyone else's. Don't care about the fans. If anyone thinks the Premier League care about the fans, then they don't. If they cared about the fans, you know, there'd be so much. The rules that are going on, like the shambles with VAR, all this sort of stuff. If the Premier League cared about the fans, the Premier League will look so much different. It's a joke, to be honest with you. And when you've got a corrupt, as I said, a corrupt organisation like UEFA trying to defend you from this, like trying to get us out, us football fans out, you just got to kiss us goodbye. The football's just heading in a downwards direction. And I think we all saw it. Anyone who didn't see this coming, I'm not sure what world you've been living in, because football's changing into finances. The ticket prices, like you as an Arsenal fan, Stephen, you know how much it costs to just go to one match.
90 quid.
Yeah, it's a joke.
You're overspending over 100 quid each time you go down.
Yeah, but it's just the trajectory of how much it's costing fans. Like, because this isn't affecting the clubs that much. This is affecting the fans, because as I said, the clubs could still carry on going, but the fans, it's just, especially as an Arsenal or Man United or Man City fan, you know, they're not rich like the clubs. They're going to struggle to afford to go to the Super League, because a lot of these games will be abroad. They'll stage games in Dubai, they'll stage games in Australia, in America, because it makes them more money. And fans are just not going to be able to see their club anymore, because if the Premier League are doing what they say they're going to do, they're going to relegate all these big six clubs. And they should do, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Premier League pull out of it, because they'll think, you know, it's their finances they're trying to protect. And if they can get the big six out of this plan, I think they'll just continue as normal, to be honest with you. I don't think they'll... relegate teams.
Even I feel they will say that let these clubs play the Super League. Once they get tired, once they are done, they will come back to the Champions League, and like it has happened before as well. It's not the first time that this is happening. Something like this is happening. There was the other tournament as well, the UEFA Cup, that Arsenal has unfortunately or fortunately won, but people don't know about it. So it was unofficial. It was not the Champions League, but so there have been other tournaments as well, cup tournaments where clubs have been a part of. Uh, at that point of time, they let it go as well because at the end, UEFA survived and they were the ones that remained, and the Champions League took over. But I just read another thing, another tweet on Twitter. I'm not sure whether it is 100% true or not. Daniel Levy knew about this 10 years ago. That is why he started the plans for the stadium. And the only reason Spurs qualify for the European Super League is because they have that stadium. And that is why they were not spending money in the windows, that much money.
Yeah.
It's come out from a Spurs fan himself.
Yeah, that sums it up, doesn't it? It's not about trophies or success, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not. I mean, in terms of, you look at the player aspect. If I actually decide, if everyone's bluffs are called, and the FA, FIFA, UEFA, they actually put their foot down for once in their life and ban these clubs.
Yeah.
At what point is any player going to go play in the Super League? You tell me. They can't play international football.
I think it's just all threats. I think.
Why do you think no players know about this? About that no one knew that these clubs were doing this. Like, they wouldn't have been briefed. If they had been briefed, they'd be walking out the door right now.
Yeah.
That's why Jose Mourinho walked out the door. He wasn't briefed about this. But
yeah,
like I was saying, these managers, these not just managers, but players, for example, you're taking away players' dreams and rights to play for your country, for example. Are you really going to do that? At what point is that your choice?
But again,
that's your choice.
But again, I don't feel FIFA will do that. I don't think so. Because if I put out a tweet again, if Bayern Munich is suppose part of this, they always have the backing of the German FA. And if the Bayern Munich players get banned from the Euros, they're not allowed to play, Germany will walk out. They will back off from the tournament, and so other countries will also possibly follow. So I get the feeling that if FIFA bans these players to play international football, I get the feeling that the Euros is going to be a calamity, and Germany will be one of the first clubs, one of the first countries to back out, because Bayern Munich. You remember what happened when Ter was going to be named the #1 keeper for Germany? What was the response? So that is how unified or unity. That is the kind of unity that these clubs have. Bayern Munich has with the German FA and the German national team. So if their players do get actually banned from the national team by FIFA, I think the Euros is going to come down crashing.
Yeah.
Connor, what, mate?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm a bit of a pickle over this as an Arsenal fan.
I'm not. Well, I can see it's a very bad idea, but I don't think it's that bad, because I think football's been a business it's been a business for a long time. Ever since the Premier League came in, it's always been about the money, and then you've had all these new owners come in, billionaires. That's all it is. It's money. You know, teams. There's a lot of teams who are happy finishing top 4 now because of the Champions League money, and it's money and money. And as much as I love UEFA trying to come in to step it, I think they're corrupt themselves. I think they're trying to care about the fans, and same with BT and Sky. You know, we're here for you and all that. They want our money. That's all it comes down to, is money.
Can I just interrupt you? Sorry for a minute. Thomas Tuchel, Jurgen Klopp, and Mikel Arteta expected to announce their resignations today.
I doubt that.
Is that the case? Yes, Super League. Yes, let's do this. Sorry, I had to get that one in. Go on, Connor.
No, I reckon. I mean, they've been talking about this Super League for a good few months now. I reckon some of these managers knew. I reckon they knew. It's only when it's been announced that everyone's going, okay, maybe this actually will happen now. But I think it's going to happen because the fans can't do anything. They don't do. We don't have billions. I mean, do you think they're going to care about shirt sales and stuff when they're going to be earning billions and billions for even joining, let alone to actually competing and winning stuff? You know what I mean? And even if it is, and I think it was I think it was Max who made a point earlier about it's going to be hard to see a team play. A lot of people don't go to the grounds to watch a team play. They watch them on TV anyway, so that won't make a difference whether they're playing at Old Trafford or they're playing in Sydney or Dubai or Los Angeles. That don't matter.
Especially if they've got the amount of money.
Exactly. And the players, there's been no response from any player whatsoever. The players are going to be earning even more money. The managers are going to be earning even more money. Maybe even if it's morally wrong or not, it's money. That's all it comes down to is money. It's greed.
Another sorry, Connor, once again. Another quick update. Prime Minister Boris Johnson and the most powerful woman in Europe, Angela Merkel, have promised to take up the matter regarding the ESL and will not allow it to be formed, according to The Guardian.
Good. That is the
fine.
best news I've heard for it all day.
on,
Football's
Josh.
gone now. Football is dead. That's it. That's the end of it. Mourinho's gone. One of the best managers. He's gone because of the Super League. Klopp said he might walk out. Well, he's not said that, but he said he don't want it. So, is he going to walk
Yeah,
out?
he said that in 2019.
Probably.
Didn't
Yeah.
Yeah, and
supposedly walking out. And then you feel
Even-
like the players, they've been
You're not telling me
just.
now.
I know, it's crazy. The players have just been absolutely stabbed in the back by their own clubs. Now they can't play for their national countries, which is just everyone's dream, really. You're a young lad there playing football. What do you want to do? You want to go and play at the highest level, but you want to play for your country as well. It's just.
Look, the thing is, with Jose leaving and whether Klopp leaves or Arteta leaves, whoever, they're going to easily find a replacement because it's money. There's going to be. Not everyone is against this. If you told me, oh, you're going to be earning millions a year, coaching one of the best teams in the world against other fantastic teams, I'm going to say yeah. I don't care because as long as I'm earning my money and I'm getting paid each week, I couldn't care less what other people think.
Yeah, but that's the bad thing about football. It's gone to money rather than the fans and the passion. There's no passion whatsoever in football anymore. It's all about money. It's just
these
so
owners,
wrong.
These owners don't understand the cultural background of these football clubs. They're Americans who've come over who, okay, this is a business now. Let's just get that top four. Yeah,
Especially Liverpool, Man United, Arsenal, who have made the history of this league. This English football.
And
most of it's dominated by them.
I can understand why the Liga clubs are happy because both, Barcelona and Real Madrid, they've got no money. They're in dire financial straits. But for Arsenal and Man United and Tottenham, who are in the best league in the world, most watched league in the world, the most competitive, and a lot, it's very lucrative league. They're still being so selfish and greedy that they want to move on to something else.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting few months because all these lawsuits are going to be happening and it's going to go crazy.
Separately for each club.
But I looked at it on the positive side where apparently if this does go ahead, QPR would be in the Premier League because we need to finish 9th and we're 10th at the moment because you replace the 3 that gets relegated and apparently if the top 6 go, there's going to be another 6 places.
No, they won't relegate the 3 then. It will be only 6.
Yeah, it's Big 6 will go. Big 6 will go. I think they've got to as a punishment for
all the way to League 2?
Their league. Yeah, all the way to League 2. I'm a Liverpool fan and I agree with that. Yeah.
We have to play City.
I'd say what they do is they totally get rid of them Big 6 clubs, and I'm a Liverpool fan. I want because they've just absolutely stabbed their own league in the back. Then Big 6 clubs just for money, and it's just horrendous.
That Perez, the Real Madrid guy, their president, he said if the players participating in the European Super League are banned from playing the 2022 World Cup in Qatar, we will create our own World Cup tournament. and there'll be enough
Oh,
players to do it.
Jesus.
They don't care. They've got the money to do it. They do not care.
I said this would happen. They will create their own World Cup, own Euros.
Yeah.
It'd just be a massive war in football. Oh, Jesus.
What I would say to fans of clubs whose clubs are going to participate in this, obviously you can't walk away from your club because you love that club. But Mark Goldbridge made a wonderful point. He said, "Don't bother buying the shirts of the club. Go watch another team in the Premier League and buy their shirts and watch their games, like a Leicester, like a West Ham. Support one of them. Obviously, you love your football club, but you see like teams that Bury, they got disbanded, didn't they? They got finished. They finished. And they set up their own club. Like that. Just go and watch another team. Don't."
But I don't understand what is this loyalty to the Premier League. I mean, why are fans so worried about that if you're not in the Premier League, that football is dead? I think
trust the process.
it is also a big call on UEFA and the FA's part. If they want these clubs to be in the league, they can still allow them to be in the league. But even they don't want to budge. If that is the case, that I think it is equal blame on both sides.
Playing against Real Madrid and Barcelona and Atletico each week does not have the same feel as playing Burnley one week and then playing Sheffield United. You want to play those games. I know it sounds stupid, but as a football fan, I don't want to be playing these top teams each week. Where's the fun in that? That's something
and the same teams.
Yeah, and it's so repetitive. I want to play against those Burnleys, and I want to play in the FA Cup against Accrington. Sounds stupid and silly, but you want that. That's what football's all about.
What's the whole idea of the FA Cup all about?
Firstly, it's not going to be that. These games are going to replace the Champions League and the Europa Leagues, not the league in itself. Even if suppose the Premier League does ban these teams from their local domestic leagues, they may come up with their own league that is in the domestic circuit. These games are going to be replacing the Champions League and the Europa League, that is the cup competitions. That is midweek football. It's not going to be happening at the weekends. Now, whether they have made plans to play around the domestic circuit, the original one, that is the traditional one. If the FA and the UEFA decides to ban these clubs, only then will they have to find another solution for the league that they will not be playing in. For now, they have only made reservations to boycott the Champions League and Europa League and play a cup competition of their own. That is in midweek.
The plan is, I was reading about the structure of how this would work. So, see, it would replace the Champions League games, but there's going to be 20 games that you've got to play. So that means there's going to be even more games. And the way it would work is it'd be like I think they do it in hockey and basketball. You've got like two sort of leagues, and then it doesn't matter if you finish top or whatever, you get put into the quarterfinals like that, and then you go like that. So even if you finish top, that means nothing. There's no such thing as the league.
It will be two groups of 5, not 5 each, 20. So it's going to be two groups of 10 each. The top 3 clubs go through directly. 4th and 5th place have to compete with each other for the remaining slots in the quarterfinals. And then the two-legged quarterfinals, semi-finals, and one-legged final will happen at a neutral venue. The final will be at a neutral venue.
And what doesn't make sense is that they've got 12 clubs right now. They want to make it, apparently they're going to have 15, but then they want to have an extra 5, which in the league, if you do well in the league, you get put into that. But what I don't understand is, let's say you've got 15 teams and Real Madrid finish second bottom, and obviously let's say Leicester get into it and Napoli get into it in the end and whatever, because they win the league or whatever they've got to do, and Real Madrid, let's say, finish near the bottom, they're not going to be replaced. So that means the teams who have gone in are going to come straight back out again. Yeah. So that's the thing, because Real Madrid, they've got they're all founding members. They're always going to stay in there. So it doesn't matter whether they finish top or bottom, they're always going to be in there. So if you get promoted into that, whether you're Leicester or Napoli or Sevilla, it don't matter, but you're going to be coming straight back out.
Yeah.
So they haven't worked out the format properly. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, their aim is to have 15 founding members, 5 more other members. It doesn't make sense
about the format, because they don't actually care about the format. They just care about the money they gain.
Yeah.
Hello.
It's going to be, they have put out certain criteria for new members to be added. If any club satisfies those criteria, they get added to the Super League. it may happen that they may, if the first set of rounds is a success, they may come up with the European Super League 2, like the Europa League, which came after the Champions League. So right now they have plans for only 20 clubs, but it is being discussed what happens if they want to include more members. Also, the response of UEFA and these domestic governing bodies will determine that. Say if the FA and UEFA allow them to play in the Premier League, like these Premier League clubs are allowed to play in the Premier League, more clubs may eventually leave the Champions League and the Europa League and join the Super League. So that could be one of the things that could happen. It all depends on now what UEFA decides, because if they let go of all the top clubs from all the leagues, the most viewership is coming from all these clubs. If all of them are gone at once, UEFA will go broke as well. UEFA, FA, all of these guys are going to go broke as well. So I think they will have to compromise on that as well.
Well, I think Connor and Max are looking pretty good in this situation. One could get promoted to League One, because obviously everyone goes up, and one will get promoted to the Premier League. And unfortunately, I'm gonna be watching fucking Real Madrid.
So what I love though, I used to get picked on all the time because the club I support. But one thing I'll say about my club, it's a community club and they love their fans. The amount of stuff my club's done over the coronavirus, our club isn't the richest, but it's helped so many people, and it's got all these awards for the community. And we named our stadium after one of our players who got stabbed and died. You know, I don't know a club who's done that. The amount of money we've done to all these charities, and that's why I don't mind not winning Premier Leagues and suffering relegations, because I know my club will always be there. And this is the exact example. Well, I don't think Arsenal are going to be. They're probably going to change the name to London Arsenal or London Gunners, aren't they? And change the crest as well. Because it's a franchise now. It's a franchise. It ain't a club. It's a franchise. It's a business.
Yeah.
Charlie, mate.
Yeah.
Go on then. Give it your best shot.
Where do I start? Bloody hell. What a fucking shambles, eh? What a fucking shambles. From start to finish. UEFA corrupt, FIFA corrupt. Fuck Florentino Perez.
Yeah.
Fuck Conky.
All of them. All of them.
Free as well. What a bell end.
Oh, yeah. What a mess.
Yeah, it is a mess now. It is a mess.
Do you know
what? I'm seriously considering continuing doing football. Seriously considering it.
I
Don't see what the
reckon
point is.
he knew he was going to get into Europe anyway, didn't he? Because he was like, yeah, look, we're 10th, but I'm not being sacked because I know the Super League's going to happen. That would be a plot twist. It wouldn't surprise me. He's a yes man. He's a yes man. Same with Ollie.
He's one of the guys about to resign, as per the rumors.
Yeah, that's probably a positive. I don't want Arteta playing fucking Barcelona. I'm sorry. God, he just about beats Benfica, for fuck's sake. God, you imagine it? Be a massacre. Oh God. Oh God, help me.
I don't think any of these players or managers knew about this. This was like a spontaneous decision. Once they have seen how much money they are losing, I think they've just taken the call.
Well, those are me, ain't. Yeah, here's the thing as well, right? So obviously grassroots. Well, what does that happen with that? Like, do you really think, like, if doing the grassroots sports, that then these players that grow up and they want to go, they get taught to play in the Premier League or Champions League or Europa League or playing internationally for the country. But by the way, guys, if you do want all that, you can't play for Arsenal, can't play for Tottenham, can't play for Liverpool, can't play for Man United or Man City, right? well, Chelsea, Man City, I'm not sure, but or Tottenham, but the others, like the top three, that have been in this country for so long, right? How? I mean, how can you? I mean, at what point? I mean, the clubs are going to have their own grass. They're going to have to need their own, invest in their own grassroots. Because do you think the Premier League are going to give them it, or the FA are going to give them that access to that? No. No. So if there's no future young talent, well, that then the tournament only just lasts until all the players get old enough to retire. Doesn't it?
Charlie put something in the private chat about Mourinho sacking. It might not be linked to the Super League, but I think it's a smokescreen. I think Levy was going to sack him after the Everton game, but they waited until after this announcement still, because it takes some of the stick away from this is what's going to happen. Because Mourinho leaving is big news, and if Klopp leaves as well, you know, Klopp won't get sacked. Klopp would end up leaving himself, but
Yeah.
I think this he was going to get sacked, Mourinho. It's just when they were going to do
I
anything.
employ every manager to leave now. I employ any player to start saying, I want my release clause. I want to be released from my contract. That's what I suggest.
Because I look at people like Levy and stuff. He seems like a proper football man. It's the same with Abramovich, because Abramovich...
It's because if without a manager or without any players, right, I don't care how much money they're going to get, right? I'm sorry, they're not going to be able to acquire all the players that they need with about 400 million. So you need a lot of money to try and convince them. And then, for each player that is, and then, yeah, these big players that they did want, they're not going to be in it. So, yeah, I think it really just comes down to the biggest managers, the biggest players now just saying, nah, fuck you.
Yeah.
Basically what it comes down to, doesn't it? That's what it does. That's basically what it comes down to now. And if it doesn't, if they don't do that, then this is destined to happen. Simple as that. Because, like you said, UEFA, EFA, FIFA, they won't do nothing. They won't do nothing. They don't care about them. That's why they tried. That's why they tried in the first place.
And to remember one thing, UEFA also themselves were trying to add the Europa League too. So they were also running after the money. They are no good. They wanted to make more money out of the clubs that are in the lower half of the table in all these leagues. And I don't think it was working out with respect to that. The clubs did not want it. At least the top clubs didn't want it. Like everyone would be playing in a European competition then. The fans are saying that there is no scope, that what is the point that if we don't finish in the top 4 or top 6, there is no opportunity to go into Europe. But with the Europa League 2 coming in, the top half of the Premier League would be anyways playing in Europe as well. So that would again just be about money, the difference in the money. If you play in the Champions League, you get 50 million. If you play in the Europa League, you get 25 million. If you play in the Europa League 2, probably you get 10 million or 15 million per club. So UEFA was doing the same thing. It's just that these clubs have taken the power into their own hands and taken authority into their own hands and just told UEFA that we don't want to be part of it anymore.
Yeah, but the whole point with the UEFA system is that you earn the right to be there. These clubs aren't going to be earning the right to be there. They think they have the goddamn right to be there.
But UEFA, he actually makes a good point, because I mean, UEFA, they will lose a lot of sponsorship because no one wants to watch, no offense, but no one wants to watch Aston Villa in the Champions League. People want to watch Real Madrid, the Liverpool's, the top team. So if everyone does go to that Super League, all the money and all the sponsorship is going to go to them. So not only they're going to be getting money from that investment guy, they're going to be getting money from sponsorship and TV deals, because no one wants to watch Slavia Prague versus Aston Villa in the Champions League. They want to watch Real Madrid versus Liverpool and the Barcelona's versus the Juventus. That's the other thing. So you're thinking that we're going to be losing money as well. But they they're corrupt themselves. They're not okay because this whole thing they wanted to extend. They want to make a third competition. They want to make money.
European Conference League.
Yeah,
Mm.
so they're not innocent in all this. They were doing the exact, literally sort of a similar thing, but obviously what the Super League is a bit more extreme, and it
Yeah.
totally takes everything away. But you know, UEFA are not perfect themselves. You know, it's
Yeah. And the best examples, again, I give the Barcelona example, $1 billion in debt. The other thing, Juventus came out and said, we are not able to afford Ronaldo anymore. His wages are too much. After the pandemic started and their audiences were stopped from going to the stadium. So all these clubs are losing money. Arsenal had to let go of a lot of employees. We had scouts and other members of the Arsenal family that were let go of. A lot of these clubs, whether they say it or not, Spurs, Daniel Levy had to go to Pochettino and convince him that don't take the money of the sacking because the club is right now low on funds. If you remember, that was a troll going around. Daniel Levy actually going to Pochettino and requesting him to take a pay cut. Who was sacked by Spurs. So there were a lot of these instances which showed that these clubs were losing money.
Do you know what? Actually, you just mentioned something there. Actually, what was it? Fucking oh god, what was it? 2009. Yeah, 2009. Yeah, 2009. Something similar happened in F1 where a lot of the teams were not happy with the governing body, and they said they're going to break away and start their own league series, start their own F1 series with the drivers and stuff. Half the teams were going to break away from Formula 1. So you kind of like a system there, but the thing is that you still had the competition there, but this you don't get competition because like I said, you've got God-given right to be there. You don't get relegated for being shit.
yeah. So you could do bad. And
If you're
still stay
shit,
there.
why should you be playing in Europe?
And it's a shame as well. No offense, but there's bigger clubs than Arsenal who haven't been invited into this competition. Bigger clubs than Tottenham haven't been invited. You know, look at even Celtic and stuff. You could even make a case for Nottingham Forest, for Leeds, for Ipswich. You know, for Ajax, for Benfica. You know, big clubs haven't been invited. Why is that? Because they're not as rich as Arsenal. They're not as rich as Tottenham. It's money.
It is, and then you look at all the people this morning who woke up with a child who's ruined because of this Super League. Like, you've got these academy players who are like, oh, I want to go and play in the Premier League, I want to go and play for my country. You can't anymore. It's just wrong.
If I was a young footballer and I wanted to go out and play for Arsenal, I'd have to make a choice. Do I want to play for my country or do I want to play for Arsenal?
More than those guys, I'm worried about the young players who are coming in from the academy, because if Arsenal is removed from the Premier League, I think they will be also removed from the under 17s and under 21s, and even the women's team will be removed, I guess, from the women's division.
Oh yeah, that's a good point as well. So what are we going to do with that?
So I'm more worried
the
about
women's Super League is going to take so the women's game is going to take a day off, take a year off.
They will probably, that is the thing, I think they will probably form their own leagues as well if they're actually removed from the Premier League and these domestic leagues. I think they will form a European league. See, the thing is, they have made their decision because they are losing. If a club was making money, I don't think they will ever change the system. Like, they would be part of it. Kroenke is making money, Arsenal making money. They would never be bothered about leaving the UEFA as a whole. They would never be worried. If Spurs was making money, if the Juventus was making money, Barca was making money, I don't think they would have ever bothered to leave UEFA. Which business wants to leave a well-established business which is making money?
You're saying that, but hang on. These plans have been before even the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
Yes, but
this
it was
is before the
implemented.
pandemic even came about. This pandemic's really been an opportunity for them to then release it to the world.
Yeah.
Right?
No, that is what I'm trying to say. They never implemented it in the past because they were still making a good amount of money.
Yeah,
Now they're
but they always were planning this. They were
Yes,
always planning this.
it was
This has got nothing to do with the pandemic. The fact that they're losing money, maybe that's just rushed it a little bit. But in the end, that if Kroenke seats them, just two acquisitions, you're making so much money out of the Premier League and everything else at the minute, right? The way it is. Right? If you go to this league, the Super League, you're going to make so much more.
Yeah.
It's just going to go that one.
You know, Stephen, you make a good point, because I think this is the perfect time for them because COVID has hit every business in the world, every business, and I completely agree with the financial aspect. That has hurt a lot of businesses like Arsenal, like Man United. Even though they are rich, it does take a lot of, money out of them. However, they have done it the perfect time because they've used that as an excuse. And remember, no fans are allowed at the ground. Do you think, when Burnley played Man United yesterday and the news came out before the game that this Super League might actually be happening now, do you think they were going to be saying, yeah, Super League, come on, whoa, big up Super League? They're going to be chanting and going absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
And having no fans there is a big part of their decision, because no one can argue, no one can protest, no one can go out in the
And
ground.
it's also made them realise, we can make money without even having the fans there.
Exactly. They've done it the perfect time. They've used it as an excuse. And I was reading what that Perez said last night. He was saying, this is going to be good for the women's side of the game. No, it's not. You're going to do nothing. You're going to give it breadcrumbs. You don't care about the women's game. You care about your own back pocket. That's all you care about. And he was talking about the football pyramid. What do you know about the football pyramid? Name all the teams in the championship. Go on. I bet you can't even name two. Talk about the pyramid like he knows.
No, but with respect to Perez, wherever he's gone, like with their basketball team, their football team, he has developed them in a way that they have become contenders and champions. So he knows his business. The other thing that I'm saying constantly is, if these clubs were not losing, money, I don't think they would be going to such extreme measures. Like Barcelona, if you remember, at one point of time, if they didn't find a sponsor by the end of the season, they could have gone absolutely bankrupt. This was the news that was coming around, that they didn't have money to pay salaries. They should have let Messi go when he wanted to leave, rather than paying his $600, $700,000 a week salary. So the thing is, these clubs have been losing money since the start of the pandemic. Arsenal's biggest revenue source is the ticket sales, the season ticket sales. That gives them the maximum amount of money that no other club in England does. When you take that out from the entire revenue that they're generating, it will really hurt the club, even to go a season without the fans. Now, this is the second season that it is happening. So imagine if this continues for a couple of more seasons, what would happen? They would definitely start making more and more losses. The club would go in more debt. Then the fans would be like, why are we not buying players? Why are we not putting money in these projects? Why are we not doing this? Why are we not doing that? Remember one thing, even on the last day, they put money from Josh Kroenke put money from his pocket to get Thomas Partey. It's not even the club's money, but it is his money, which has overall, maybe it must have been adjusted in certain ways. And the last thing is, if you want these clubs to be, these clubs are trying to do one thing. Even if such a situation happens in the future, say there are no fans for any reason, for whatever reason, there are no fans for a season or two, they will still sustain, they will still make profits, they will still grow, they will not be going downwards on their, you can say, revenue graph. And that is what all these clubs are trying to ensure with the Super League, rather than just the owners trying to make money. The business will still grow, it will go upwards, even if there are fans or no fans in the stadium, which is now the case. And it could even happen that if this pandemic doesn't get over for the next 2 to 3 years and there are no fans in the stadium, or there is like 50% capacity, like they tried in the FA Cup final, they tried a lower capacity, still the clubs would not lose any kind of money, and they would have a lot of savings as well to use in such a crisis.
It gets.
And then,
I mean, I just don't know what you. Honestly, I'm seriously considering not even following football on this. Why? Someone tell me why I should. I mean,
I think
someone honestly tell me why I should follow my club doing this.
Miss Melina just said Champions League and Europa League will continue as it is announced for this season.
Champions League
Okay.
coming on. Come on the bar.
No, because you won't know, Charlie, because you resigned from UEFA.
No, this season.
This season it will continue.
Yeah, what's the
Even
point though?
even UEFA knows that they can't ban these clubs. These are the most title-winning clubs of all times, apart from Spurs, and they can't just remove all of them from their domestic leagues. And not Herrera, Fofana was the first player to speak about this. I think he was one of the first guys to actually put an Instagram post.
Jose Enrique put an Instagram post about it and said he doesn't agree. Ex-Liverpool player. And it's like, no one wants this at all. It's been
I think
forced upon us as fans. It's not right.
I've not
Steven is
seen. I've not
Steven
seen
is
anyone that
sorry.
actually wants this.
No, I've not either.
Not one person.
I don't think they still they want to see what happens with FIFA and UEFA first. Will they actually get banned from the domestic leagues? Will they
But
actually? Yeah.
there's no point in doing it in the first place, though. Like, there's no need whatsoever. It's a wrong way to make money. It's not right at all. You've been put in the best league that there is just because you've got money. It's like F1 with Lance Stroll. He's been put in Aston Martin because his dad owns it. It's all corrupt.
No, but the thing is, if the clubs have been playing Champions League or Europa League or any other league, and if they're not making enough money for the club to make a profit, and they're making losses, then they need to react. If they don't start making profits, because a football club is also a business. If it doesn't make money, if it doesn't make profits, the club will start losing money every year, and then at the end of maybe say a decade, they will be in so much debt that the club may have to cease to exist. If you remember what was the situation with Valencia, if they didn't get a sponsor in 6 months at that point of time, they would have to shut down the club. Even some of the lower league clubs have faced this issue. If they don't get sponsors, if they don't get revenue, if they don't make money, that is what these clubs are trying to avoid, that it never happens. Their business runs throughout the year. So that
Right. Hang
Yeah.
on.
I get it's a business.
Hang on. Fabrizio Romano has just come out and said UEFA Executive Committee to date has unanimously voted through the new 36-team UCL to start in 2024, and PSG President Nasser Al-Khelaifi voted for the new UCL too. So then, why would he vote for that if he's going to?
I think he just wants PSG to be crowned the UCL champion this season, but it's not going to happen yet. They have to play the games now.
Mark Goldbridge said it. He said it's obvious why Barca and Madrid want the Super League. They're broke in a league that won't get any more competitive. But then the Prem clubs, it's in the best league in the world. It's just pure greed.
Yeah, it's spot on.
Not winning. That's at least one thing. I'm just looking at some of the tweets here. Apparently, if Mourinho has walked due to the ECL, I hope. Oh, I know that's a fan opinion, but could the others follow?
Yeah,
I
definitely.
think Jurgen Klopp will be the one.
Chelsea have now left the ECA.
Yeah, that'll be everyone, I imagine. So City, United, Real Madrid, Barcelona will all probably leave that.
Porto said no.
Porto said no to?
Porto said no.
Porto was already, I think, part of the Super League.
So the new Champions League, 36 teams, 4 teams added. No more groups, just one league. Top 8 reach knockouts. Every club are guaranteed 10 games. What do you think to that?
I don't agree with that at all.
Too many games in a season. Too many games.
Now UEFA has their own UEFA Super League.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Oh, what is going on with this world?
UEFA is trying to compete with them. It's the same thing. UEFA is trying to compete. They're trying to make a response for their response.
Just leave it how it was. There's no problem with it.
That's what I say. Why fix something that isn't broken?
Do you think all the owners should be gone though?
Yeah. Of course they should.
Yeah,
I've been saying that
do
for
you want your
years.
owners out?
I've been saying that for years. I wanted them gone.
I'd say it gets to a point now where it's too money based. I reckon it all restarts, like the top 6 clubs all get dismantled and go down to League 2 and just see where it gets them to without money, because it wouldn't be high at all. League 1 at maximum.
The Manchester United would still have that fan base, wouldn't they? They'd still have that.
Yeah, and so would Liverpool, and so would City.
Income.
Yeah, I know, but say the stadiums get took away from them, you can't have everyone there.
They won't. I think the most the Premier League will do is probably deduct points. That's not what I think should happen, but I think that's what they'll do. Because I feel like they're cowardly. I don't think they'll relegate the teams. So I just think they'll see the money impact of it and think it's better for them to have Manchester United over Derby County, because that's like the swaps that could happen for like Championship and Prep.
Yeah.
It's better for them to have Liverpool than Blackburn. That's probably just how they're gonna see this. They're not gonna want to relegate the teams at all. That's for sure.
No, but then if you get banned from the Premier League, then no one's gonna want to play.
I think the reason these clubs have become so fearless is they have seen Manchester City's example. When Manchester City broke FFP rules,
I spoke about it last night.
Yeah, when Manchester City broke the FFP rules, all they got was a damn fine, 10 million. If these clubs have to pay 10 million pounds and they have to probably get a point deduction, these clubs will happily take it. Who wouldn't take it if you're getting $5 billion like as a long-term deal? So I think these guys don't mind paying the money, because they will make so much more money that even if FA is banning them or giving them a point deduction or giving them a fine, they are happily ready to pay it.
Yeah, they should be relegated. I think it'd just be better for the world of football, and a few
There needs
players
to be a
would leave.
punishment.
Big punishment. I reckon it should be a big punishment.
Not a fine.
40-point deduction. 40-point deduction. I'm saying. Not
a fine, because a fine is just it's money that can be made back at these clubs easily. I think the way you hit them the hardest if you got them out of the Premier League money. If you got rid of that TV Premier League money, you'd hit them the hardest, because that's what they're trying to widen their pocket. And if you shrink that down, it's going to hit them hardest, and they're going to think, we're not going to try and do this again, because this will inevitably fail. This will inevitably fail. When the governments are against it, it's just going to inevitably fail. I feel like teams are going to start to pull out. Players aren't going to want to do it. There's not going to be any players for the teams to have. There's not going to be any players to play in the tournament. So I think it'll inevitably fail. And I think when they come back to the leagues, there's got to be big relegations. I don't think no fines, no point deductions. You need them out of the leagues, so they know that they can't do this again. Because if you just give them point deductions, they're in the Premier League.
Yeah.
I think there will every team will have 2 squads. One will be of the Premier League players that want to play international football, and they will still remain with the Premier League, and another will be with the Super League squad. So what will happen is this may include people or players who are not playing international football or have no aspirations, or have some of them have retired in that sense. So those players will come into this Super
I
League
don't see
squad,
why Arsenal are
and
interested if there's
there would be two
Arsenal
squads.
are one of the founding. Hang on, sorry. Arsenal are one of the founding clubs. They don't get relegated from this. I don't know where you got that one from, but they don't get relegated from this. So for us,
That's
it
why they're
looks
in it.
work. Yeah.
We've never been relegated anyways from the top flight.
Oh, trust me, if we were part of this and there was relegation, we'd be fucking relegated.
Definitely.
Don't think so.
Do you want to bet?
There will be those 5 other teams or 6 other teams who will be way worse than us.
Yeah, well, big up. They probably just want to rotate with Leicester every year. Everyone. ESL is bringing them into focus the very nature of society's causes. It could change football better. It could encourage fans to support footballing excellence, as in true business, tactical brilliance.
Steven,
Academies.
I just tweeted out a picture. If you want to share it, it's on my wall. It's of Perez. You can just
Arsenal have been relegated years ago, though. No, we weren't. They've never been relegated. Go check our history.
Yep.
Go check our history. Trust me, we haven't been relegated.
I'll send you the link. Hold on. It's a very nice picture. You can probably share it with these guys.
Oh god. If it means Arteta's walked out the door, then yes, I'll share it.
No, it's not about him.
Oh fuck. I was waiting for that one. Ha ha yeah. Yeah, it is inevitable.
Yeah.
Have you heard people coming out with new songs about it? It's just like money.
The new Super League anthem.
Yeah. Do you know what? And this was supposed to be a review of all the games this weekend. But that's the point.
Yeah.
We drew against Fulham, but hey.
We don't have to talk about real football this weekend, mate.
Oh yeah, we do. How was the FA Cup result?
Which one? Leicester
We
beating
got to enjoy
Southampton.
some banter while it lasts.
Leicester beating Southampton. A great goal by Ian Axel.
Nah,
Where's the
I'm talking about the other one. Where's the other one?
Where's the
Come on, you
quadruple?
know.
Oh god.
What happened to the quadruple?
It's in
This
the
is the only time you're going to get it now. This is the only time you weren't going to get it. Now you're going to get one tournament.
Bloody hell.
See, yeah, that's gone. That's gone now.
Quadruple.
That could be your last match ever in the FA Cup, Charlie. Man City.
Quadruple. And no more League Cup wins every season.
Yeah, I'm not missing that too much.
How can you rob our own cup? That's disgraceful.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you've been winning that every year, sir. How long? So yeah, they have been. I am bloody certain we have not.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they haven't as well.
We got relegated 2012-13, but because of the start of the war before the next season, we didn't actually play until we got back into, which was 2019-20, something like that. And because it was about so many years later, they actually extended the league after that. So because they extended the league, we didn't get relegated.
Yeah, we were about to get relegated and the war broke out.
Yeah.
So it never happened.
So it never happened. We never got relegated.
Since the time we have been promoted to the first division, Arsenal has never been
We've never
relegated.
been relegated from the time we've been at the top flight. Right? But are we still? I am. Be on the post name. Right? He's gonna have to get used to it because Arteta's about to walk out the door. So
You're gonna be getting beat about 6-0 every week.
That's okay. At least Arteta outstayed Frank Lampard, Jose Mourinho, all these guys.
Oh, for fuck's sake! That's not making a better manager.
And even if he walks out, it's not getting sacked. He's leaving because he doesn't agree.
Oh my
Yeah, rightly
life.
so. Rightly
people
so. I
calling
don't
Arteta.
understand how anyone agrees with this at all.
I've not seen anyone that agrees with it. I'm not
People
gonna
calling
lie.
Arteta a yes man, and finally he's thinking of resigning over Arsenal's decision. How is he a yes man then?
That's a good point. I'll give him respect for that. It's probably about the first good thing he's done, apart from a new FA Cup. But I don't know. That did paper up a lot of cracks.
Can I just say
Fuck JP Morgan.
The vice chairman of all this, Joe Glazer, has only just learned the offside rule.
Oh my life! And yeah, this is the thing. We're going into bed with these fuckers.
Yeah, I heard about it. He was getting trolled all over social media last night. He didn't know the offside rule.
Oh my god.
Huh.
Just seeing his tweet here. Football died when they started giving yellow cards for taking your top off. For showing emotion, you get a yellow card. Like,
See,
What?
that was disgusting. See,
What?
Harvey Elliott scored for Blackburn this weekend. Dedicated his goal to the 96 at Hillsborough. Took his shirt off. Said justice for the 96 on his shirt and got booked for it.
yeah.
It's bollocks.
Bollocks.
Oh, you noticed football's just bullshit. Well, at least I've got F1 to look forward to. So I'm happy. I have something to watch and something to have a comment on as well.
Mesut Ozil's just tweeted. He says, "Kids grow up dreaming to win the World Cup and the Champions League, not any Super League. The enjoyment of big games is that they only happen once or twice a year, not every week. Really hard to understand for all football fans out there."
I don't think Mesut Ozil can be the right moral police to judge anyone for money.
That's a good point. But then he's not as bad as some of these bloody idiots.
No, but with respect to money, he did the same thing. He kept Arsenal at ransom. Arsenal is now keeping UEFA at ransom.
Yeah, so we're just as bad as them. So there we go. So let's start with Arsenal.
And Atletico Madrid have just made a statement, means all the 12 teams are now confirmed to be part of the Super League.
Oh, great. This shit.
Imagine this. These are not just some random small clubs who want to leave their leagues because they're not winning titles. These are some of the most successful clubs in every league. There has to be a reason why they want to leave UEFA. It wouldn't be that. See, man, I said this again. Manchester City dominating every second odd season and winning the league. Why would such a team want to leave UEFA and want to risk leaving the Premier League when they were building a legacy and were doing something really big? So the thing is, there has to be more than that. Maybe the club is actually not making profits because of the lack of audiences or lack of deals or the number of sponsors going down. Something has to be more bigger than there has to be a bigger picture why they want to leave. It's not just about the few billions. The Sheikhs have more money than what the Super League will give them.
I get that, but you're not helping the pandemic as well. If you're going to do this in the middle of a pandemic, you're not helping it by doing like people like flying from one destination to another. It don't help.
At all.
It doesn't help, right? Like this country got ridiculed for the fact we let people in whilst the pandemic was going on, and you want fans to go one all across Europe.
I get the feeling that for some reason these clubs feel that who thrive on the supporters' numbers in their stadiums, most of them, that for maybe say the next 4 to 5 years there will be no fans coming into the stadiums. And Spurs, again another club who has spent so much money on their stadium, needs to recover that. Otherwise, they will also go into some kind of bankruptcy. So I think it's all about the debt that is growing, and these clubs want to find a solution to that. I think that is the most important thing, because if the club goes into bankruptcy eventually, the legacy part of things, which the fans are talking about, that they have a legacy. If a club like Barcelona was threatened from ceasing to exist, I think these other clubs can also face such problems if for the next 3 to 4 years there are no audiences. And Arsenal, because I and Steven are Arsenal fans at least, we know how important the audience money and the ticket sales are to a club like Arsenal. Without that, I think our revenue is like 50% is already gone.
Yeah. I'll do it for 10 more minutes. I just don't. Sorry. Someone carry on. Oh, sorry. Yeah, this, you know what? It's like I said back when maybe it will like get these big governing bodies to actually see sense, because in the end, when mentioned about the F1 when it happened, when it tried to happen there, for example, it's the FIA and governing body learned and made improvements, and now you don't see much problem with it. Right? They're actually making a better future. By the way, 2022 Miami.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
love it. But what I don't get. So maybe we'll put them into action and get them to change so that these clubs don't do this. But this doesn't feel like that. Those teams back then, they did it as more as a threat. This doesn't feel like a threat.
yeah, this seems
They
concrete.
actually seem this seems serious. This seems they actually want to do this. Yeah, they're actually going to do it. So, yeah. So, hey, maybe if the government steps in and stops them, and I don't know what the government. What can the government do? What can they do?
I think they said they're going to stop funding policing for the around the stadium, you know, for the.
Oh,
for the
yeah,
English
well, they'll just fund their own. The amount of money they've got.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
Well, what? You know
That's
what
the
I
only
mean?
threat I've seen the government make.
I don't get that. Right? But what was the government really going to do?
Yeah.
Even the government knows that if the Super League is made, I think the FA and the UEFA will get bankrupt. Both, if these bodies go bankrupt, I think even the governments lose a lot of money. So I think they will try to protect them as much as possible. Boris Johnson made the statement, if that happens, then let's see what happens exactly with respect to these.
But she's going out.
Yeah.
You just have to manage to, right?
Yeah. So. I don't see any positive outcome on this. Really don't. Start sending a tweet, like bookmark the date. Bookmark it, because that's the day football died.
Yeah.
It's literally the day football finally died.
April 18th.
People could say it probably died ages ago, to be honest. Especially when these clubs were being bought by owners.
Can I ask you a tricky question, Stephen?
Next thing, no, what I'm hearing now, hang on. The only thing I hear is then is like, oh yeah, well Arsene Wenger was predicting this. I don't care. Like, I'm fucked off for hearing that. Like, Wenger predicted this, or he wanted this player, he wanted that player. And I'm, wow, it's so great. He's a great fucking philosopher. I don't care. Right? I don't really care what he's got to say anymore. Right? He's old news. Right? But it's just like, and people might say about the TV companies, if they see they're getting more money from the TV companies see they get more money out of this, they'll go for it. Because they don't care about the fans either. I don't care what they say. Don't care about the fans, right? So it's not like the Super League's going to have its own TV subscription, right? Sky will go for it, so will BT, right?
I don't think they'll go with Sky and Sky won't go with them
Why not?
Why not?
because Sky is with the Premier League, and they will not go, like, they have a tie-up with the Premier League in itself, and they are totally against this concept of the Super League. So I don't think they will be going. It will be
Yeah, but
some of the other. Yeah.
You could say there's no Premier League without the Big Six. Well, there is, but it's not the same. It's not the same product without the Big Six. So is Sky really going to back the Premier League when there's no Big Six in it? Sky are all about the money.
No, but Sky has, like, Gary. They put Gary Neville out there to make a statement. Their intention is clear that they are not for the Super League. I don't think they will not probably go now. Maybe if the league survives, maybe 5 years, 10 years down the line, maybe they would then change their stance.
Yeah.
But Stephen, the question I wanted to ask you is, if suppose the European Super League comes up tomorrow and says that, Stephen, we are ready to sponsor your channel, here are £10,000, will you take it? And they say that give it to charity, do whatever you want, you're doing a good cause, you're doing a good thing, we want your channel to grow, we want you to be out there and the fans to know more about you. Would you take it? Or would you say, no, you are not what I want, I don't care about your money and I don't want your money?
That's for charitable cause, though.
Exactly. That is what happens when the club
but this is for their own pocket. This ain't for charitable causes.
That is what the fans are saying, that it's all about the owners making money, but it is also about the clubs making money as a business, which are making losses right now.
Talk, man, you.
Yo.
Fire away.
Listen, you're talking about the top six in the Prem going off and doing this league. What all the Premier League are going to do with Sky is just go, okay, then you're the so-called top six. You go and do what you're doing. They'll create another top six with West Ham, Leicester, and whoever else is up there around that spot, and they'll just promote teams up from the Championship, all down through the leagues. Just do a shift upwards. That's what they'll do, and the Sky will be like, yeah, that's cool, because once it'll still stay the Premier League, it'll still stay the Champions League, still stay the Europa League. They go and do what they're doing, they'll just be left out in the cold in their own little crappy league. What then? Because there's no way they're going to buckle. There's no way the Premier League are going to buckle on this and say, "Oh no, that's fine. You can do whatever you want and become royalty. Become what? Get loads of income from this MAV streaming service or whatever it's called that wants to put billions into it. The money from Sky and get billions into it, and the top six just become like super elite and super mega rich with no FFP. It's a nonsense. That is a nonsense. It's not going to happen. They're not going to allow that. Definitely not.
Just a couple of things wanted to add to that is, one, if Sky tries to make another top six, the six are the reason that they're the top six is because of the traditional ones, because of the fan bases. Now Sky may try to push West Ham, they may try to push Leicester, they may try to push all these clubs as much as they want, but the fan bases are of these six clubs which have decided to walk out. The other thing, most of the pundits on Sky are either Liverpool, Manchester United, Arsenal. The guys keep shuffling around, a few of Spurs. What will be the use of these pundits there when their clubs are not in the league itself? So I don't think the Premier League has the, you can say, the balls to actually get rid of these clubs. They may give them a point deduction, they may give them a fine, they may give them a transfer window ban or two. They may do all these things, but I don't think they can lose them, because if they get rid of these six clubs, they are in more bigger of a mess than UEFA first. I think the Premier League will go bankrupt if they let go of these clubs way before UEFA does.
Now, if they keep these in, if they keep these clubs in, it's going to be a bigger mess financially for everybody else, and everybody else is going to say, "Wait a minute, what's going on? How can this be? When there's no FFP, these clubs are just raking in billions upon billions." It's that you can't have an unbalanced league. There's no point in having the Premier League if it's going to be so unbalanced. FFP's already knocked it up anyway. So, and plus the fan bases, there's going to be a lot of shift in fan base anyway because of this. If you want to watch football every Saturday with a team, you're gonna go. You know what? Because I'll tell you something now, and I'll say this now live on the internet. I don't give two shits. If this now this is happening, I'm seriously considering: am I going to continue to support this club?
Yeah, I'm not.
Am I going to continue to support it?
Yeah.
Why should I? Why should I?
Hi, everybody
Say-
in the panel.
Yo, Saeed.
I've listened to what you guys have said, and I just want to add a few things. And I think I agree with you, Top Menu. If they go ahead with this, I won't support Arsenal anymore, because Arsenal won't stand for anything that I could be proud of anymore. It won't.
Yeah.
I would just be a customer to them for them to be able to make money off me. And it has
Exactly.
nothing to do with the values of what the club used to stand for, what the working class people used to stand for, what the joy and the beautiful and unity of football used to stand for. All of that will be
Yeah.
gone. So why should I support them? They don't care about me. As long as they can make money, they don't care about any of us. And this is the reason why these American owners came to buy these football clubs, because they saw that there was the biggest sport in the world, but it wasn't commercialized like the NHL, like the NBA. So they were like, you know what? Let's go and buy this football club. Let's get some knowledge about football. Let's get some power into football. And then we can create our own league where we can decide our own rules and do whatever we want, and we will make more money, and we don't even have to win. It's not about winning anymore. It's not about prestige anymore. It's only about how much more money they can put into their own pocket. And why should I, as a football fan, be part of that? That's not football. The Super League doesn't stand for football.
But the thing is, you said that you would to be part of this. But the Kroenkes have been here for almost 15 years. Glazers have been here longer than that. These guys have been here and doing the same thing for the last 15 years or decade or so. Just that now they have decided to step out of the Premier League. And you haven't changed your stance on supporting Arsenal or Manchester United for the last decade or so, even though you knew it was the same thing that was happening and these owners were anyways trying to put money into their own pockets. So why now suddenly, when they've just decided to leave the Premier League, which is again just an extension of the same thing that they have been doing for the last 15 years or so?
But I think you're wrong. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing.
Also,
because today everybody can win Premier League. Anybody can win Champions League. But the Super League, only a few teams can be in that Super League, and they are only there because of their status. They're not there because of what they've achieved in the league. So how is it the same thing? At least today, if you have to qualify to the Champions League, you have to reach top 4. To qualify for the Super League, you just have to have a rich owner. And they will decide if they want you to be part of them or not to be part of them. And then the league will be closed for 20 years. So you won't even be able to be relegated for 20 years. How is that the same thing?
I think that the clubs that they have chosen to be the founding clubs have, and that status that you mentioned, are based on what the clubs have achieved over the years. It's not just about what they're doing right now, because clubs like AC Milan are also part of it, which are not doing that great right now, but over the years they have achieved a high level of status in Europe. So I think some of the clubs there, not all of them, even Barcelona is struggling right now. But what they've done in the past is a reason for their selection as well, and there are certain criteria that the clubs need to fulfill that they have mentioned also. They have their own set of selection rules and certain, like say, what has Spurs won in the last 2 decades or 3 decades? Nothing. They just have a stadium that is big enough to accommodate a lot of fans, and that is why they are part of it. They made it to one Champions League final. That's about it. They won the last one League Cup title.
But you are the one who's saying that it's the same thing. I don't understand how it's the same thing.
What I was talking about is the fact that the owners were anyways putting money into their own pockets for the last 15 years, whether it is the Kroenkes.
Yeah, this is different, Red Devil. This is different. This is different. This is so different. This is going to be an absolute car crash.
But I think this is
Worse than
when
that.
fans have to organize and stand against this Super League and stand against these greedy owners. Because at the end of the day, if football fans don't buy pay-per-view, if football fans don't go and watch football, then there will be no money. All the money that they are making it from football fans watching football and buying merch. So if we organize ourselves and understand the power we have as a fans and see the bigger pictures, we can fight it. But if we don't unite, if we don't go together, then football as we know it will die. And a lot of clubs will go bankrupt because a lot of clubs depends on the money and support that they get from UEFA, FIFA, Premier League, etc. All of that money will be gone. Because eventually there will be a power struggle against the Super League, the Premier League, and the Super League will probably have their own pay-per-view companies. So they won't go with Sky because they wouldn't want to be on the Sky's rules. And
This is what I
Sky
was saying,
won't
The
so
be
thing is,
able.
hang on, sorry, but the thing is that the reason it's different is that with the Premier League, yeah, it broke away with the Premier League, but like each club had a chance of being promoted into that league.
David, you don't
doing
even need to
more in that
explain
league.
that. It's not even don't even bother trying to explain it. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing.
I mean,
how can it be the
you
same
see-
thing when these 12 founding clubs are never going to get relegated?
Yeah, don't worry about that. It's not the same thing, mate. It's not the same thing. The
you
Premier
see
League
what
was
Porto
just
did when they won the Champions League? That can never happen in the Super League because Porto won't be part of it. You see what happened when Monaco went to the semi-final? That can never happen because they won't be part of it. You see Seville when they won the Europa League? That could never happen because they would not be a part of it. You see Leicester City, what they did in the Premier League, that can never happen in the Super League because they're not allowed to be part of it.
Because plus side as well, these clubs can't now just go what you call moonlighting, which is saying to Sky and the Premier League, oh no, yeah, we'll still take all your income from yours, but we're just going to go and do this other league as well and rake in loads of money from that. Because what will happen then is the Premier League will say, well, that has to filter down like everybody else is from the Premier League. And if they say, oh no, we can't do that because this is nothing to do with the Premier League, then Sky will have to then stop adjust the payments to the clubs, so they'll be no better off.
It's crazy.
Something's going to happen.
This
To
is
balance
crazy.
this out because you can't have, like I said, you can't have these 6 clubs, however how many clubs it's going to be, earning the same amount of money from the Premier League that they are, and then going up playing this Super League and earning shed loads out of that without it trickling down to the other clubs and paying their fair share to keep the whole structure going. And if they do that, then they're not going to be any better off either way. Something's going to have to give, and in my opinion, what's going to give is Premier League, along with Sky, are going to make a statement and say, "Listen, this is your choice. These clubs have left. We'll just push the teams up and just keep it going." Because I'll tell you, like I said, loads of fans like me now, if this is the case and it stays like this, and Man United are no longer in the Premier League and it stays the Premier League, I'm going to go and look for another club. And the first club that comes to mind for me will be Brighton. That's the first club I'm thinking of, Brighton, because I love the way Brighton play. I'm going to have to start now doing my research on Brighton's history because I have no clue at all. But you know what? I'm up for the challenge because at the end of the day, I ain't ever gonna give Man United any more of my dough. No chance. If this happens.
No. 100%. I'm thinking even like, a concept of trying to like create a better, local league where football will be about football. Because why shouldn't I support locally rather than support a team that couldn't care less.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, do you know what? We can go away. Go. But,
And also,
say
imagine
I'll
the
get over
legal
by then.
impact. Imagine that these owners will own the Super League, so they can do whatever they want. Who's going to regulate them?
Mm.
They're going to set their own rules, and nobody's going to be able to touch them. Who's going to punish them?
But anyway,
It's
like
crazy.
I said, we could go on for ages, but I'm going to have to call it there. But yeah, like I said, we didn't get to the review of it.
If anybody else wants to continue this conversation, is there any way we can go and continue it?
Yeah, if anyone does want to go continue it, like,
I will. I've nothing better to do.
yeah, you could do in the comments. You could put it, continue on Twitter.
like now. I mean, like now.
I don't think it is.
Right now.
I don't think it is. If everyone's had their say on it. They all went live last night, but I was absolutely knackered, so I couldn't even do it. And even then I didn't sleep. Fuck me. But yeah, I think football has just officially died. Pretty much.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, anyway, we'll be back at 4 p.m. to something that is actually moving in the right direction, right? And actually, something I can actually watch and actually be happy about. So, because I don't have to worry about this sort of thing, which is the F1, because they actually care about fans, right? They actually care about fans. That's the funny thing.
And I just have to say, I'm so proud of the German teams and the French teams, because Bayern Munich could have easily joined this.
PSG. There's a reason PSG. There's a reason
But there's more
PSG
teams
have not
than
done it.
PSG in France.
Yeah. But there's a reason PSG haven't done it yet. Because
yeah, I know.
They're part of Qatar.
Yeah, I know that. But Lyon and Lille and Marseille could have easily joined. Bayern Munich, Borussia Dortmund could have easily joined.
They are going.
Going to end up accepting.
Hello.
Bayern Munich, Dortmund, and Leipzig are rumored to be joining.
Anyway, what players you like quickly say before I wrap this up for good?
So all the clubs, all the founding clubs which are joining are getting £450 million, and they all get paid 200 million a year. So the amount of money that all our big clubs will have now, and it's so you can go get Declan Rice, Grealish, and all the clubs that were stripped of all their best players. So it's just going to kill English football because of how much money all the bigger clubs are going to have. So Arsenal are getting an extra 250 million a year. That's crazy.
Yeah, so Kroenke, all the money he spent to buy Arsenal, he will have it back within 1 year. And after that, he will make so much profit. It will be ridiculous.
And if you and
it's going to go to his pocket.
If you win it, you get 400 million.
Yeah, but he wouldn't care to win it because he will make enough money, so he wouldn't need to win it. He could finish last for 20 years and he will still be in the league and collecting 200 millions every year as a profit. And I'm sure their sponsorship deals will be ridiculous because they will be able to marketing their games on a level that they haven't been able to do before. And you will start seeing like Barcelona versus Arsenal in New York.
So they get 450 million for signing up and probably an extra 400 million a year so every time they finish the season, the clubs get 250 mil and sponsor increase. So they're probably going to be making an extra 300 million a year with then the sign-on fee as well.
Crazy.
There you go.
I don't know. I think
Literally just gone out the door.
we're gonna need a second part of this discussion.
Yeah, could do. Yeah. Well,
So let's say
but anyway,
Arsenal could get 600 million, and they can do whatever they want with it. Pretty much, they can just bully Leicester, bully West Ham.
Click on that link.
The owner's gonna take
Click
the
on that
money
link.
into his pockets. He's not doing it so he can buy better players.
They will buy some better. They could if they want to. I mean, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Even if 50% of the money goes back into the club, I will be more than happy for that.
Yeah.
You guys really
Oh,
don't understand.
if anyone does want to talk about it, like Tallman's put a link in afterwards, I might join that afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah,
like I
click
said,
the link if you want to talk about it, guys. Just click on the link.
Yeah. Send me the link privately, mate. Are you still on Twitter?
Yeah.
Okay.
Speak to you in a bit.
Yeah. Like I said, 4 p.m. Is something that you never see this there because they actually care about the fans. Hence why we're going back to Miami. The F1 review of the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. So go and join that at 4 p.m. and then at 6 p.m. We're just going to see what the referee's going to have to say about this because we were going to look at the referee's view, the ref's view, but I would like to see his opinion about it because Mark Colsley is on there for 6 p.m. with a special interview. So yeah, we'll be covering that as well as some of the games. So yeah, we'll definitely be doing that. But yeah, until then, and then right, we might as well enjoy the Premier League while it lasts with these big clubs. Leeds versus Liverpool. I mean, part of me wants to just boycott that now, but let's anyway. Yeah, Arsenal, Tottenham, Chelsea, Liverpool, Man United, Man City, they've all just quite happily helped fuck up Arsenal, fuck up football. But yeah, everyone stay safe, stay well, and we'll see you at 4 p.m. Take care.